Welcome back to the Spot the Ball podcast. This is your boy Ron Wells and your boy
Willie Love the Third. How y'all doing?
and we're coming to you live from the MyBillReview.com studios. MyBillReview.com saves you money on all your essential services needs. Give them a call 561-281.
We trying to figure out this string out with the banners and stuff. Don't do me like that. You want to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out on the go. I'm trying on the go.
Messing up the money. All right, guys. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna rewind a little bit. We're brought to you by MyBillReview.com. MyBillReview.com saves you money on all your essential services needs. Give them a call 561-281-6099. That is 561-281-6099. So we just wrapped up college football. NFL conveniently steps in with the playoffs. Of course, there are now 14 teams in the playoffs as opposed to the usual 12. There's a bye week for the top seed. Top seeds are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles on the NFL side. But let's dive in real quick. We already gave you a recap of our best and worst thoughts of the college football season. But let's talk a little bit about some of the off-season happenings that are happening right now with college football and also recapping basically a lackluster game for the national title. Will the real UGA please stand up?
Did we not pick it all the way through?
Oh, yeah, we did. I said Georgia's a different type of dog, and Georgia was a different type of dog. At the time of last week's show, the spread was, I believe, 12.5, and it dropped to 10.5, and I changed my bet. Unlike the great Willie Love over here.
Hey, no. I originally said that Georgia was going to demolish TCU. I said it. You can go back, you can watch it. I said it. But because of how close it was, my great esteemed co-host over here, I said, in school they teach you to go with your first mind. And I told myself, I'm going to be upset if I don't go with my first mind here. And I come back and Georgia covers. And they did more than covered. They laid. They what's another word? They furnished. they served. They gave back to the community. They gave stogies to UGA. That's how they gave everything. They give you everything. 65-7. It's crazy. I wasn't even watching them. Like, I had the game on my iPad laying on my TV as I was playing 2K. Because I'm like, I'm not finna sit here and have this on the big screen for this to be like this.
See, I had an appreciation. Mm-hmm. I have an appreciation for dominance. Mm-hmm. So I stayed and watched it not just on one screen from ESPN. I had it on 4 different screens from ESPN.
I had to get level 40 on 2K.
Yeah, I had the all 22 in dead center. And then I had the surrounding cast.
You had it all.
Yeah, I did have it all.
I was trying to get level 40 on 2K.
I understand where you're coming from.
I had to get like this certain level.
See, I retired from all of that.
I'm still young.
Yeah, you still young. When you have kids, you have to let go of a game here and there. Man made it to 35. So it is what it is. But UGA, first off, the biggest glaring hole, like we always say, football is a game when you move other people against their will. The biggest glaring hole was UGA and Todd Monken schemed, and not only schemed, but had the horses to move TCU against their will. And I did say this on this podcast, so you don't get too mad. I said if Washington plays, they're a whole nother beast. And Washington played, and they were a whole nother beast. So much so they went up, 14-7 before they just said, okay, beep, and left them boys in the wind. There were a lot of schemes that were in that game where you saw the offensive linemen pulling. They pulled tackles, they pulled guards, they pulled the center. Mm-hmm. They had jet sweeps. They put the safeties in a 3-3-5 in so much conflict that they just didn't know who to guard whenever the ball was actually in the air. Georgia likes to move the ball horizontally to get their matchups out of the way, and then they use their speed over the top sometimes. They use their speed over the top all the time because they had Bowers, they had Washington to be in the game in 12 personnel or sometimes 22 personnel with 2 backs and 2 tight ends to really move TCU against their will. They dominated in the trenches first. Stetson Bennett was on like he normally is on in these playoffs. And to be honest with you,
35, he better be on, bro.
I get it. He is old. But
he's a kid. Come on.
At the end of the day, man, all praise be UGA. Thank you.
I thought you were about to go somewhere with. I'm like, oh Lord.
I was gonna go Mike Tyson. All praise be Allah.
I was like, where are we going?
But man,
that's what we picked. We locked in all year. We said,
did.
It's Georgia.
It's Georgia's world, and everybody else.
Who else come? And it's crazy. You see what David Pollack said while Saban was there at halftime?
That's gonna be played on a loop and
bulletin board material.
All Alabama's all season.
And I said to somebody, like I said, well, I was playing 2 guys. I said, he was like, Georgia got this. Bama got this number 1 class this year, so they're gonna come back. I said, I don't know, bro. Like, I really think Georgia is here because this team is young. This is not an old veteran team.
Thank you.
This is a young team. So you're just hoping that Beck come in and just don't mess up the car next year.
Well, that too. And then another thing is too with UGA, like you mentioned, their trenches are all young besides Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith on the defense side of the ball. Their center and right tackle are both gone to the league as well. So all they have to really replace is 4 people in the trenches. It's not like they're losing everybody in the trenches. Their receivers are dumb young. Bowers is coming back because he's a friggin' sophomore. Washington is draft eligible. Will he go pro? With those stats, I don't think he does, but he is a monster, so he's going to be a top 2-round pick either way because he's going to test off the charts. But outside of that, you're talking about your friend talking about Bama, maybe going to be able to take it back. Bama's unknown is the same unknown for Georgia, which is they got to replace a quarterback who was basically, generational types for most programs.
That's a program changer.
And those are program changes. Exactly. You don't know if this next quarterback coming up for Alabama is going to be able to do that. Not to mention they're losing Burch. Not to mention they're losing a corner. Not to mention they're losing, like Bama loses a defensive end, like they're losing another tackle, and they lost another tackle in the portal. Like, Bama has the horses to recoup. I'm not saying Bama's not making the playoff next year. Matter of fact, you can book it right now. Georgia and Bama are going to be there. Mm-hmm. Now, outside of that, it's a different story. But congrats to Georgia once again. Champs is what it is. We knew it from the start. We called it from our first show, UGA for the title. We don't know those things now. I ain't doing that. Predicting the champ next year type of thing. It's more than likely going to be Georgia, but in June and July when these rosters settle, after the second wave of the portal, the second portal season opens back up and these rosters move around a little bit more, we'll be able to watch some film, and maybe mid to late July we'll give you who we think are going to win the conferences and the titles and so on and so forth. But I hope y'all made a little bit of money because I did make some money this past weekend. My last futures bet came through, Georgia for the title. I had FSU winning more than 7.5 games. I had TCU winning more than 7 games. TCU winning more than 7.5 games. Georgia winning the title. UM being under 9 games. UF being under 7 games. So I made my futures bet, and I'm so happy about it because I had been losing money left and right all season. Ain't gonna lie. And parlays, they'd be 1 away, 2 away, and so it'd be hurting my feelings. Now, as far as some schematic things in the Big Three, when it comes to college football, because we are here in the state of Florida, we got to talk about them. I'll start off with the University of Florida and what's going on there. Since early signing period, University of Florida, one thing that they've been trying to do is add portal players, but they've been losing a ton. They lost 4 of their 5 offensive linemen. They just pulled one from Baylor. He's not ranked in the transfer portal cycle, but it takes a while for them to rank those types of players. Whenever they do rank them, we'll update it. But he was a Baylor offensive guard. They got him, but they still got to replace 4 others because one of their guards is going to the NFL. Is going to be a top 20 pick. Both of their tackles have already left the program. Garage, he is going to the league as well. But then you got the left tackle who decided to go to USC. You got your backup guard who decided to go to Arkansas. So they have a lot to fix.
They foresaw that it wasn't going to be the same next year.
Oh my gosh, what's the same as the next year? This past year was horrible.
It's going to be worse.
And then on top of that too, now granted, I do like their recruiting class as a whole, but with recruiting classes like we talked about last week, it takes 2 to 3 years for that stuff to come through, even with your 5 stars or your 4 stars. So you need portal guys, and the reason why we say you need them is because they developed under somebody else, not so much developed, but they got the body types. They've been in a college weight room, and that's what you're trying to look for. And right now, UF has gotten off to a slow start when it comes to the portal season.
I don't know how true it is, but I've been hearing some smoke with Rashada lately.
And I'm gonna let you tap into that because Rashada was once a Miami recruit. Go ahead.
No, it's not. Like I said, I didn't really necessarily like real deal like dive into it. Like I said, for me, I'm not a real big speculation guy. Like I have to see I gotta see it. And so me just seeing again, everybody who think they're out, they inside, or they got this kind of scoop, it's not all credible.
Oh no.
So like I've seen it, but I didn't necessarily read into it because like, are you credible enough for me to waste my time to read your article?
It hit the front page of 247.
Mm-hmm.
So credit to them at 247 for even posting something. I believe it was Blake Alderman who posted it. Rashada signed his letter of intent, aka LOI, which basically means that you have asked for grant and aid at a specific university, and that you intend on enrolling at that university within the next before fall semester of the fall of this coming year. So you can go in as early as spring, which people are doing ad drop right now. That window closes on Monday of next week for Florida State and UF and Miami actually too. People that are on the quarter system, that closes in February. So that's something to closely watch because a team that was looking at him really, really hard was UCLA, and they are on the quarter system. So they could fit him into their cycle if they truly choose to. But here's the kicker. Rashada can't enroll into UCLA in February even if he wanted to because he signed the LOI. Where things get real sketchy is if he signed the LOI, he does not enroll until August. If he doesn't enroll in August, the last fall open period, he can sign in with a quarter system team like UCLA in September, October when their next quarter starts. So there's a window for Rashada to enter a school. It's very few schools who are on the quarter system, but there are some that he can enter a school that was recruiting him other than the University of Florida, so he has leverage. The rumors are, where we don't want to speculate too far into it, is that the collective in Florida, unlike in California, where they can be connected to the schools, and also young men who are not of age can actually acquire representation in California to actually go out and look for name, image, and likeness opportunities. The rumor is that they're having a little bit of a tussle with that particular avenue. And I know that it was a big deal when he signed with Miami. I know it was a big deal when he decommitted from Miami and went over to the University of Florida. So where there's smoke, there could be fire. But look, if he doesn't enroll at UF by August, he's a free agent.
That's crazy we say these words for college athletes. It's crazy we say these words.
Hey, they deserve to be called what they are, man. And to be honest with you, if anything comes out that is remotely true about what is being speculated, there could be a lawsuit that can change the name, image, and likeness laws in the state of Florida based on the rumors that are circulating right now. But in the meantime, Jaden Rashada is not there, and that's a big part of your class who he has an open pathway to start at quarterback at the University of Florida.
They gave him a bump lately, so he's real deal close and not already a 5-star. So that's the honeydew of the class. So, and once again, this is that part of it is, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's why I've been dancing a little bit. I ain't going into too much detail, but for the most part, to have that reported and you not be enrolled, and he said from the All-Star game he's going straight to UF, and he ain't been at UF yet. He ain't sat down in games yet. That's a big hit for them. Now, they also lost out on a transfer prospect at defensive end. Like I said, they lost a lot of trench players.
to Florida State. Gilbert Edmond decided to commit to Florida State, transitioning now to Florida State. Florida State ended up getting Jared Verse to come back. They got Fabian Lovett to come back.
Mhm.
So their trenches are looking like ACC championship type trenches. And remember what I talked about with Georgia. The big people win games. And schematically, Florida State's been squeezing out the juice.
I'm a big person.
You kind of big. But they've been squeezing the juice from the orange the most when it comes to getting the most out of the least that they had. And to really solidify that defensive line now with Jared Verse's return, Fabian Lovett's return, then you add in a Braden Fisk, who is a top 12 portal player, top 2 defensive tackle in the portal, or defensive lineman in the portal. Add in Gilbert Edmond, who is a top 40 player in the portal, top 5 defensive lineman in the portal. And now you cook it with grease, because now Florida State lines up with basically a three-line rotation of defensive linemen. And it's beautiful. You got the freshman of the year who's not even going to start on Florida State's defensive line, Patrick Payton. So you got Verse, Fabian Lovett, Fisk, Payton, Gilbert Edmond. You got Derek McClendon. You got Farmer, Ray. I mean, I'm just rattling off names. Like these are really good, impactful players. Not to mention who Florida State picked up in the portal before on the offensive line, with Byers, the number 1 offensive lineman in the class for the transfer portal as well. So Florida State is cooking with grease when it comes to the trenches. And then with all the returning talent, I don't like to speak on these too early things, but, let them pump up Florida State for what there is. They finished number 11 in the nation this year, just outside the top 10 in the AP poll. It is what it is. They didn't get the top 10 like I thought they could. That's where I see them probably coming into next season is between 9, 10, and 11 in the preseason polls. I don't buy into this, hey, they're a top 4 team. This is a team to be looking out for, top 4. Nah, I really do have, being realistic right now, I have, of course, UGA, Alabama. I have Tennessee ahead of them as well because I do like the quarterback who's replacing Hendon Hooker. I also like, what do you call it? K-State. I really
What do you call it? That's what you said. What do you call it?
I do like K-State a lot. Penn State, I like a little bit too because they're bringing in this new quarterback who's supposed to be the bee's knees, but they got 2 running backs that do everything. Those are just 6 teams ahead of Florida State where I have, no reservations of picking them over Florida State right now just because of returning talent and also talent that they've already accumulated. The thing about Florida State that other teams don't want to mention, and maybe Florida State fans don't want to mention because they're curving it towards the portal, is that other teams had not had the talent drain that Florida State had from the final year of Jimbo Fisher all the way through the beginning of this year with Mike Norvell. Like, the talent drain was there. The depth was not there. So you really have to account for that. What you saw on display at Georgia is that they had the depth and they had the talent, and they've only brought in 2 transfers in the transfer portal era. Looking at TCU had consistency, but they didn't have the type of depth that UGA had. TCU just hired their first coach since Gary Patterson was there for almost 15, 20 years. So when you lose something like that, you still have continuity of some type of talent. They did add a lot of transfers, but they haven't added as much as Florida State. Florida State's now up to 27 transfers in the last 3 years, as opposed to TCU. We're talking about 7 transfers. So even Jordan Travis is a transfer. So that should tell you how Florida State's been building. And another key thing is, too, with Florida State, they finally moved on from their defensive back coach, Marcus Woodson, got a better job. Over at Arkansas, he got a pay bump in a better position. So instead of cornerback coach, he's now secondary coach and also co-defensive coordinator. Now, Florida State gets a good hire with Patrick Surtain, senior, former Miami Dolphins All-Pro, who was the coach over at American Heritage from 2016 to 2021. He's formerly now with the Miami Dolphins, but he's coming over to Florida State. And with his South Florida connections, being the coach of American Heritage and coaching his son, who is now in the NFL, one of the highest rated players according to PFF, Tyson Campbell over at the Jags, their best corner. Needless to say, his credentials speak for himself when it comes to secondary between his pedigree, the pedigree he put into his son and his players. I mean, James Williams was coached by him over at Miami. I'm just being real. He's got a litany of 5-star talent that he's coached, 4-star talent that he coached, and even 3-star talent, which is college P5 ready players. So having that influence come to your program, I mean, we were already DBU. Now you gave us a real DB. So, I mean, I just saying, you gave us a DB coach at DBU. And, I mean, we DBU. I mean, just saying. You take Prime out, and we still got more All-Pros than everybody else. We got more Hall of Famers than everybody else. Like, I'm just saying. Well,
I'll give y'all. Just let you have your turn. I will let you have one.
All right. Now, with transitioning over, Florida State didn't land the offensive tackle from the University of Miami. He ended up going to Tennessee. And you can talk about University of Miami and what's been going on with their offseason.
Like I said, recently, this past week, they got 2 transfers, Matt Lee and Branson Dean, opposite sides of the ball. Matt Lee just recently got his actual transfer rating. He's a 4-star. Came out, he was a 3-star. Branson Dean still hasn't gotten his rating yet for the transfer, but coming out, he was a 3-star. For Miami, on the defense side of the ball, that's a huge get, regardless, because what you lost as far as defensive linemen in general through transfer portal, so you have to bring in that depth. You added.
I forgot Daryl Jackson. Yeah, and Daryl Jackson stock. We can talk about that if you want to.
No, it was. I wasn't looking like to even see that. I'm like, what is going on? like literally, it baffled me. Like, what is going on? Like, don't do this. For me, it's more so less drama. Just go play. That's where you want to be at. Don't need to entertain it. And I think he was that. Again, this is just stuff I see. He was on the phone. He was on live with Jackson. Campbell was on live with Jackson before he committed to Tennessee. So I don't know if he's on live chopping it up. Woo. Yeah, Florida State is supposed to say that, but he went to Tennessee, so I don't know how that went. I just see a little post here and there was what it was. No, nothing really crazy. We already spoke about what John Campbell would have been at Florida State anyway, so it's nothing major.
And Jackson is going to be the same over at Florida State, which is he's going to be second. He's going to be the second team off the bus, but at the end of the day, he's still an important piece to what.
It's rotation.
Yeah, but you need that great rotation.
Because it was only speculation. I feel like because of Fisk, right? Brandon Fisk, that's his name.
Yeah, Braden Fisk. Yeah,
Braden Fisk. So that was only what I feel like speculation. For me, it was like, okay, then if that was the case, then no, I don't want you back because if you're running away from him. What you scared of, bro? That's coach that you don't want in the program. So I'm glad. If it was a troll job, then it's just a troll job. It is what it was. What it was. I ain't mad about it. You do your thing. You feel me? I'm not a kid no more. I'm an adult now. So.
Oh yeah, he wearing suits on the podcast. I am not being hot,
man. No,
in front of this camera,
man. I came straight from progress reports.
And
so I'm not going home, going the other way. Just
selling Bibles, people. He's selling Bibles.
I do progress reports, so I didn't leave school to about 3:50. So I just came straight here because I'm not wasting gas. Again, I'm an adult. I'm not wasting gas.
I'm a man.
I'm 40. Yeah. I'm not wasting gas when gas is still $3 and some change a gallon. I'm not doing it. So I came straight here. You feel me? It is what it is. And I got asked, are you interviewing for other jobs? No, I just want to look good. And I got another suit. If I bring that out, I'm bringing the walls down. So I'm not going to bring it out. I'm not going to bring it out.
Mind you, my career is supposed to be in suits, and I do everything not to wear them. This man can go with collared shirts.
If I wanted to.
And just
only on Friday.
And be okay.
No, if you're feeling great student, I need teacher shirts so I can stop wearing dress shirts and polos. So if you want to be a nice student, buy me all these corny teacher shirts. Please do.
Yeah,
it helps me. But no, like I said, Thomas Gore and Branson Dean. So you're hoping they plan out to be great rotational pieces, if not starters for your program, because you're bringing in college-ready talent rather than focusing on or hoping that your high school is coming out and you thrust them right in there and they do the thing. You know what I mean? So. No, it's still quiet over there.
Okay, I like the center. I just don't like the center for the scheme.
And that's what I'm getting to. It's more so like he's a huge get, but it all depends on whether, because it was, it last year they kept saying it's not the scheme, it's the players. Is what we hear. We've seen the argument that players saying it's not Gaddis, it's the players, and you can go back and you can see different plays, different games where it's like, yo, like this is open, that is open, this is open, that is open, and either one, you don't have the time to hit it, don't see it, or we just suck. It's three things, you know what I mean?
So no. I give you that part, and we kind of we're saying the same thing. Where for me, when I'm thinking about talent acquisition, mind you, my squad FSU is in the third year of this, third off season of this, truly like coming to fruition where you had continuity. I'm looking for players to fit the scheme and be talented. He's extremely talented and well developed, but the scheme that he was running is closely related to what UCF runs, what Kendall Browse runs at Arkansas, what they run at Tennessee, what they run at Oklahoma.
And which other city he can plug and play? Like at this point,
I can't say he can plug and play in that system.
But that's more so if it's power, based off of, like I say, pass really for us as a unit, even if it's not schematically wise, it's for run protection. Mm-hmm. I don't care. 90% PFF is amazing, and it's more so now you were forced off for a reason, right? You are the highly coveted player for a reason, and you have to come in. But even still, with the staff, is more so unless you get players to buy in and they can legit do well in the scheme. Again, I'm not looking for overnight success next year.
No,
like, you like everything this year, like we said, Porter wise, everything is snatched.
Well, not yet. No,
as far as I feel like lineman wise, everything is snatched. I ain't even get into the receiver piece, but everything lineman wise is snatching for what was left. That's a huge get.
He was good when he entered back in December, beginning of December, when people were allowed to enter the portal, or when he entered the portal in April. I think he's a talented player. Again, scheme for me is everything when it comes to when you're bringing in talent. Do they fit your scheme? Because we've seen off-season champs like Washington Commanders. My apologies, people. Washington Commanders, where they won the offseason every year. We saw the Dolphins win the offseason when they acquired Dominican Sue and all the other players.
It just ain't pan out.
It don't pan out because the scheme don't pan out.
Yeah, I'm not the Rodgers, but
they picked up Namdi.
On the Eagles, they had Namdi. They had they had Asante.
Yeah, man.
They had them all, but Namdi won that scheme. Asante was that guy.
Yeah, Asante's that guy. Now you get where I'm coming from. Like it's a different animal when you're doing talent acquisition based off of basically when you're talking about National Signing Day and early signing day, you're talking about basically the draft for high school to college players. And when you're talking about college players in the portal, that's more like the agency. It's got to fit your culture.
We can only tell once we see spring team.
Yeah,
we got to see spring team. We can speak on what we saw last year. Again, I'm not in the room, so I don't know what conversations are.
And this is coaching changes because I just mentioned a coaching change that happened at Florida State.
And so, it's never too late for guys to be gone. It's still to be gone. It's never too late.
Well, it's too late. Like I said when we talked early in the season, I think anything after National Signing Day in February is too late. I think because you're already recruiting 24. Listen. Like right now, the good teams are recruiting 24. You need your guys in the living room.
You know how I feel. But Gaddis ain't been with none of these guys I recruit. He has not been with none of them. You don't see that man.
I'm not even saying that. But my thing is, if they don't bring in whoever they bring in new, across the entire staff, if they don't bring anybody new, let's just say by Super Bowl Sunday, just have your reservations about what kind of impact that coach can have already.
No, it's a huge impact now because you see how many receivers spurned Miami to begin with. It's already a huge impact offensively. Offensively, it's like for me, like I was telling you earlier, as a kid, if I'm seeing my highest receiver has just north of 375 yards, my leading receiver, I'm not confident with going to that program. So it's still a ton of receivers there. it's also some big names going elsewhere because it's just like, what do you have to show me that I can succeed in this screen? Because even still, it's like, I don't know if this man is going to be here, and I don't know if you got somebody else coming in. I don't know what's going on. So it's like, I feel like, for one, that's kind of why over there, at least, it's slow on both sides.
Yeah. Because
you're not sure what's going to happen with Steele. You're not sure what's going to happen with Gaddis. And so it's like, you're not seeing that. Because you remember, recent years, you go back last 2 years, Miami and the portal was quick. Like, they get
they can pick left and right because you know what they want.
Either it's more of a methodical, like, search, or it's the coaching aspect of it. You know what I mean? We don't know what we're going to have here and there. So,
well, at least you held on to DVD.
These men said, "Oh yeah, DVD." I thought you called Taliban like DVD. No, but it was a lot of smoke around with DVD. But again, he's a big get, and I feel like as a program, unless you pay this man real soon or you promote this man, he's going to be gone. Like
yourself is still trying.
You're going. If you see the impact he has on these recruits of what you have coming in as primary recruiter, like it's amazing. So either if you want him to stay in that same role, then you gotta throw it back.
The thing is, there's a cap on
what you can do. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you have to promote him. You have to put him at a position. As somebody, even if you just do him as a cornerback coach, if you're gonna have a secondary coach like you had with a cornerback coach and a safety coach, you gotta do something.
Yeah,
you have to. If you're gonna keep him, then you can pay him a bigger bag. So it's up to y'all on what y'all are willing to do, because people are using that as ammo to get people to. Hey, look, he finna be going. They talking about him over here. They talking about over there. So
we ain't got a negative.
You gotta figure it out. You gotta figure it.
We DBU. We know what we.
I'll let you get the one, but it's still a position on the field. So I'll let you get the one. So not like I say, with Miami, it's still waiting to see. Florida State's kind of more so. It's like,
oh no, we already in.
It's like it's there. Miami is more so okay.
Yeah,
it's a day by day thing. You're gonna see what you see. You're gonna get what you get, and when this whole got us officially here to state, all right, we move forward. If that's what y'all gonna do, then all right, you got an off season now. You got I ain't say you got off season because you had one last year and it didn't work out this year. So you got an off season to kind of get the continuity into whatever it is that you've been. If you want to run the same thing, to see if you can put better product on the field. And again, we're gonna see what it looks like spring ball, because spring ball will tell you what this program is looking like. I ain't gonna say it in its entirety, or because you're not putting on your hat against another hat. You're going against each other, so you can't say, oh yeah, national championship aspirations because you've seen somebody throw for 400 in the spring game that you barely tackled anyway. So it is what it is. So we just have to wait until the fall and see what happens.
But that's the big three portion of the podcast, and we realistic about what we're talking about with our teams. It ain't no sugarcoating over here. Now moving
Miami
on
to the national championship next year.
Ooh, child. Never mind. Just go ahead and blow it out. This you're gonna hear this a lot on the podcast. This is the season of the lies. We're gonna be telling a whole lot of lies over here.
Miami. We number one, baby.
Woo!
Remember Ron? He was number one. Okay. So transition, I'll take this one. It's now trying to go into the NFL playoffs. We told you last week we weren't giving you nothing because last week was last week. You had some people go out and play. You had them go out within the first quarter, second. You had some teams that are still trying to fight for position. And, some teams lost their, they fight at the 425 slot games and still played hard. Hey, Lions, we respect you over here.
Wow!
I wasn't going that far. But the Detroit Lions, man, we respect
you. Get off some kneecaps!
Because, man.
Average Blake Aaron!
Average Blake Aaron. So
we're a children's show.
Yeah. So, they came in, they did what they had to do. And even though they lost, like with the Seahawks winning, it was a wrap for them. Yeah. They still going out and really spoil the season. That's when you're in that kind of position, you really want to go spoil the season. And who better to spoil than Aaron Rodgers, who's been saying I seen the clip. He has so much clickbait this year, and the Lions social media team put it all together. And I said, he said all that this year.
He said it all.
He said all that.
Because he got all that money and he just won MVP that he didn't deserve. Like, that was Mahomes' MVP last year. I don't care what nobody else say. He said all of that, gave them all that drama just to get another $200 million. I would have to get $200 million. But he did all of that to blow off your continuity, had Devontae Adams leaving because he didn't know if he was staying. And now him and Devontae Adams both out of the playoffs and both looking for either receiver or quarterback.
He said receiver or quarterback.
Like, seriously, man. here's where we're coming at, right? The Packers are out of the playoffs, which moves Seattle into the playoffs. A good story, the feel-good story of the season, because now Russell Wilson is out of the playoffs after bullying his way out of Seattle. So it probably wasn't Pete Carroll, because your boy, I'm just telling you right now, Geno Smith is now the leading yards passer in Seahawks history for a single season.
And they got an extra week. They had an extra week. Like Brady just set another record for completions, but we had an extra week. So you get an extra week.
To be even close to Russell Wilson as Geno Smith.
Yeah, that's facts.
When people said Geno Smith might not even get that job because they brought in another quarterback on the trade with Drew Lock. Come on now.
They be realistic.
But that's what they said.
Did you think Drew Lock had a chance?
God, no.
Let's be realistic.
But let's hit it on the top of the head, right? They brought in 2 tackles. They kept saying Russell Wilson didn't have people to block. Well, as soon as Russell Wilson leaves, which they were trying to tell him they were going to do, they picked 2 tackles in the draft. They pick up Charles Cross at number 9. The second round, they come back and get another tackle. So they got 2 bookend tackles. The thing he was looking for, they got, and he left. The grass ain't always get greener. And then now the Broncos firing their head coach. Thank you, Russell Wilson, though, for winning that last game of the season, because it moved my Colts from the number 8 pick all the way up to the number 4, because the Houston Texans and my beloved Lovie Smith, because, you know, I'm a Chicago Bears fan through and through, too. Chicago Bears moved from the number 2 overall pick to the number 1 overall pick because our former coach, Lovie Smith, now coaching the Houston Texans, decides to win a game and gift us the gift that keeps on giving him, which is draft capital, potential draft capital, because we got Justin Fields. I feel like we got a quarterback. And he ain't played the final week of the season and still led the single season lead for rushing yards for a quarterback. He surpassed even Lamar Jackson with 16 games, not 17. Can't say it's the extra week. And he was hurt 1 week, too.
Yeah, the extra week.
He ain't playing.
They count preseason and stuff.
They count.
No, you know, I'm over shaking my head because we talk, and I hate the fact.
Nah, go ahead and advocate for Lovey, because Lovey's my guy.
I hate
Lovey.
I hate the fact that Lovey got fired. I hate it because we get fired for winning. I understand what was at stake with draft capital. Then do better in the previous offseason. We won't have this problem.
They did that.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No.
The Jalen Waddle pick was the.
No, the Texans, you sucked. You've been sucked. You got rid of JJ. You got rid of D-Hop because your own problems in your own organization. So you crippled your organization. Then you bring a man into a crippled organization, and then you get mad because he won the last game.
He got him shoulder weight.
So now, as a man, I'm 25. As a man, I don't like to lose. So, but you basically, like what Brian Flores said, man, they was paying to lose. Paying what? Hey, what? It's the truth. Hey, paying to lose. And as a man, I can't do that. I don't like to lose. Nothing. This man see you just losing matter. No, never. If I lost, the man got me. And I hate it because I don't want nobody to have one up on me. I'm the best. I say I'm the GOAT. You can't, I should not lose.
Yes,
you
Pastor.
I mean, I got called Bishop like 3 times a day. I'm not going to lie to you. I got called Bishop 3 times a day. But, man, for him to get fired, for one, they got the job conversation, the Rooney Rule. And then he wins the game, so you get a Rooney Rule, then you fire him in.
Look, all I'm saying is
it wasn't fair.
The Bears got them.
It don't matter. Y'all suck, too. And he been lobbying for this number 1 pick all year, and he got.
Hey, look, we started off rough.
He's happy.
We started off rough. We were 2-1. We beat the 49ers. We started off rough, but Justin Fields showed so many flashes this year, and he does have a lot to improve upon. Don't get it twisted. But he doesn't have a lot to work with, so I see why he's seeing ghosts, and he feels like he has to take off and run. To be honest with you, the only thing that the Bears have is their secondary and Justin Fields. They need offensive line help. The defensive line is solid. They got rid of Roquan Smith and picked up an extra pick. Roquan just got paid by the Ravens.
And that's what, I'm sorry to cut you off. When I saw that, and I said to myself,
they can't sign Lamar. You saw it too.
And if they can, they must have got a buku of money. But I'm like,
I know.
deal. Lamar asking for Tucson.
This math ain't mathing, right?
No.
NFL math is weird.
That's like
it's not as bad as
that's like
it's not as bad as NBA math, but it's weird.
It's like 360 million on the payroll right there.
You know how
not for a year, but it's just in totality.
Yeah.
Man, I know these $1 billion organizations and everything.
But no, the salary cap only going up a little bit. It ain't going up a ton.
You got other expenses.
We can talk about that in the offseason. But you see what's working in our mind. This is what we tell you. We are literally spot the ball. We talking about every aspect of ball. So
then you got to tickets, like the seats. You got to wear the seats.
Yeah, man. All that. So when we're looking at it, right? Seattle makes the playoffs, and they get the reward of playing a team on a 9-game win streak in the San Francisco 49ers.
I think it's 10. I think.
10.
Yeah,
10. My bad. 10.
Yeah.
10-game winning streak with the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are the healthiest I've seen them come into a playoff, and they lost their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback, and they're down to the third-string quarterback, who is Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. But he had a hell of a lot of starts in college. Like, he had a lot. So he's seen a lot. He can manage the game a little bit. He can push the ball down the field. The 49ers, because they're streaking. The 49ers reluctantly, and I hope my homeboy Dre don't see this, reluctantly are my pick to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC. That's my futures pick for the NFC. The other NFC matchups that we have going on is
you got the Cowboys and the Bucks.
And Michael Irvin said, "We won't Brady. We won't Brady."
Did you see that clip on First Take?
Oh my gosh, Pinky. Yeah. Stephen A was acting like Pinky.
Say it again. It's over.
We won't Brady.
No, you don't. Let's talk about it.
Go ahead and talk about your Bucks.
Talk about it now.
You think Michael ain't coming?
No, he can do what he want to do. I'm just more so saying, even like, I won't be surprised if Tampa Bay get booed the first round. I don't have lofty expectations for Tampa Bay.
I thought they was winning the Super Bowl.
That's just fan talk. That is fan talk. At the end of the day, you gotta be realistic. I've seen what put on the field, and unless, again, I will never put anything in past. Let's Skip Bayless words, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I would never put anything in past this man, even though he's looked not so good all year. That man can skill. Skill. Some boys been going through it lately.
We ain't gonna go over
that. So it's like he can flip a switch. You know what I mean? And so same thing with Tampa. They're finally getting to the point where they're getting healthy. And you got some players, Vita Vea, Carson Davis didn't play that last couple weeks. So maybe some players coming in fresh. But even still, my original point was Tampa done seen the Cowboys the last 2 years. You know what I mean? First week, both years. Tampa Bay got the best of the matchup, and it seemed like they got their number. Now, haven't seen them in a later on in the year playoff type of situation, and ever really. But the Cowboys are notorious for choking away in the playoffs. So it's like, do the Cowboys in like the hump this year and beat Tampa Bay, or the Tampa Bay have their number again? Twice this year, not just once. So it's like it's so much at play, but I'm never confident in the Cowboys in the playoffs as of the last decade.
Okay, look.
Yeah, that's a Monday night game.
All right, that's the Monday night game. ESPN has that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
AKA the 4-letter network. So they got that name, that game. I am not opposed to staying away from that matchup. But if the Cowboys lose that game, I just don't know what else Jerry Jones can do. And I'm not being facetious here. Like, they got almost 2 1,000-yard rushers. Pollard is their 1,000-yard rusher this year. But Dak Prescott, he's been such a lackluster player this entire season. And you start to realize that them giving away, what's the Alabama receiver they gave away? Amari Cooper. Them giving away Amari Cooper for a pack of pencils after all them receivers went for 2 first-rounders, 1 first-rounder, minimum of first-rounder. And they got, a 4th rounder for Amari Cooper?
But see, my thing too, I guess I did. I forgot to say it, but the Cowboys as well, let alone who they are, they haven't looked good the last 4 or 5 weeks of the year. You gotta hit a wall.
You hit a wall because people see film.
But see, also where I guess I can go, because I don't want to go into too deep. This is my team. I don't want to really talk too deep about my team, but we can transition. Same deal with the Eagles. Even before Jalen Hurts went out, they were kind of struggling a bit. It was like games was real close.
Well, games get close towards the end of the season because of the weather, but at the end of the day, they're getting close for the Eagles who have the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? He came back. The quarterback came back.
Yeah,
Hurts came back. So Hurts comes back. They get out to a good lead, and they held off Giants. Their defense is their defense. One thing about the Eagles that I can say, and this is not transferable to next year, is that they lead the league in sacks, which that kind of does transfer. They also lead the league in turnovers by a lot.
It matters.
Like,
this year, at least, it matters.
Like,
it matters.
A lot. And the fact that they came out and they played their starters for most of that game versus the Giants.
That's when they don't have that many turnovers. They run the ball. That's why they run like what they have. AJ Brown, they have Devontae. They got a good stable of receivers. But for them, like
they control matchups.
They control the game. Like especially
and 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen with Lane Johnson and the other Kelsey.
Right.
Jason
Kelsey center. So when they get into the red zone,
it's over.
They're not really passing the ball. They running it. Jalen Hurts is like it's crazy. And so I can lead the league in like turnovers because I run the rock. I pound the rock. And when I'm gonna take advantage of my matchup. Arthur Juan is a dog.
Yeah.
Devontae is a blur. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So it's hard to miss him. And AJ not slow by any means. So it's like these are not 2 similar style players, but AJ and Mike, they get a lot of people because they have that sneaky speed.
Yeah.
You don't respect the speed because of the height. Then they get up on you, and then it's like
leaving.
Then they put a little weight on you a little bit, then they gone. You know what I mean? So the Philly has when I say offensively wise, the closest to complete offense in any team in the league have this year, it has to be the Eagles.
It has to be the Eagles. And I wanted to pick the Eagles for my Super Bowl pick, but the only reason why I didn't is because the 49ers are streaking so much. And the playoffs are about momentum. And the fact that the 49ers don't even have a bye week doesn't break up their streak.
You gotta get right into it.
Yeah, they just keep rolling.
They got a trap though. It's a divisional matchup.
Yeah.
It's a trap. And I mean they handled the Seahawks both times. Don't get me wrong.
But this is
hard to be the team the third time. And I'm not gonna be the one to sit here and say, yeah, Seattle's gonna win that matchup. But it's a tricky one. I can also see 49ers winning by 10-14. I can see it. But
I'm picking the 49ers in that game.
And I'm picking what?
And I hate to say it, but it's only because I'm hoping that we just see some type of progression. And these last 6 years ain't been for nothing with Dak Prescott. So it's no offense to your Bucs. I think the Bucs are very much so capable of winning that game just off of muscle memory. But I just want to see the Cowboys advance.
I don't care.
I know you don't care.
Don't do it while you playing me this year.
Yeah, well, they don't have a choice.
Don't do it while you playing me.
And then the last matchup
on the NFC side is the Vikings and Giants, and the Vikings are only going, like we done said this. I don't know, but the technical difficulties we had with doing the podcast our other way, we've said this. The Vikings are only going as far as their defense take them.
And their defense has not been playing well.
Because you got slapped by Green Bay. You opened up with Detroit, and you did make a miraculous comeback. Don't get me wrong.
But Detroit's offense did prove that they him. That offense is him.
But it's like you have matchups as a Vikings, and when you were like, we knew it was sketchy, and we knew what y'all were when y'all got a number 2 seed, and your point you lacking in point differential.
Yeah,
we know what it is. We know what it ain't, and so.
But they have so many good pieces. Like
they
got a run game. But then the defense just lets them down. Then they get stagnant on offense because that's what teams do. They get stagnant, but you need your defense to pick you up. It's not complimentary.
They don't get off the field. That's the problem. The Vikings do not get off the field. Like they get them 3rd and 12.
What are the Giants gonna do?
Remember, we said this. When we said we're undefeated, how long are they gonna do this with no receivers?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a tricky matchup because you don't know what you're gonna get out the Vikings. Because I've seen multiple weeks like, and I don't bet on you suckers too. This is how I know for sure. I'm betting on you suckers. And I'm like, the week I bet on y'all, this is what y'all do to me. You gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me? Huh? Pelican Bay.
Shoe program.
Yo, listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm watching games, I'm like, especially with Hitman was, I was like, oh man, they can't cover.
No.
Oh, oh, they can't cover. It's like Hitman is that important to them. Like, oh, Pat P is not Pat P in Arizona.
No.
Pat P is an elder statesman now.
Yeah, he knows what he's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing.
But you can't stay in front of it. It's a different speed.
It's a different speed now.
So you ain't watched the series yet. I don't think you did. But in the Best Man series, Morishita decided to go back.
He got hit.
They weren't hit like this back in 2013, was it?
No, it was. You was just different.
Pat P said they won't run like this back in 2013, was it?
Oh my gosh.
Come on, man.
Look, I'm just off of pure and utter muscle memory. What time is that game?
That game is at, I can tell you, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Is it the Saturday game?
Boom, boom. No, Seahawks play on Saturday for sure. So let me see if they other because it's gonna be NFC and AFC.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on how many they got on Saturday. So Saturday's the Chargers and Jaguars. They play Sunday night. They play Sunday at 4:30 slot.
Okay, so it's a 4:30 game. I'm going with the Vikings. It's not at night. The Vikings in prime time.
Did you want to see that game in prime time?
No.
Okay then.
But no, the Vikings in prime time means that I gotta pick against Kirk Cousins. So look,
nah, you don't want to see that game in prime time.
Look,
and even still,
I was hoping that would be the 12 o'clock game because then I know for a fact
it's
Kirk Cousins gonna win.
Okay, so I mean, I guess with that, like we don't know. We'll see how it
What's
goes.
the spread?
The
spread's 3?
Yeah,
I'm taking the Vikings. I'll lay it 3.
We can transition now to the AFC side. So over on the AFC side, Kansas City gets the bye, and it's going to be a neutral site situation, stuff going on based off of what happened and transpired a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But Kansas City got the bye. The Bills, they're playing the Dolphins without Tua.
Yeah. You can book that game. That game is already over.
Yes.
The Bills will cover the 13 points in Buffalo. 14. In Buffalo, we already called that. We're go ahead and do that. We lock that in.
And then on Saturday, you have the Chargers and the Jaguars. So me personally, I'm not gonna give you a logical bet. I'm locking in with the Jaguars solely because it's like I love a good story. And Jaguars, like we said, they won.
It's a better story.
They 5 straight, right? And so who would say that in this year, you would tell me, if you would told me, literally, the last 5 weeks of the season, Jaguars going to rule. They're going to beat the Cowboys. They're going to beat the Titans last week of the season to clinch their spot. Oh, boy, you're a fool. The Titans? With Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry?
See, here's the thing.
That's not happening.
See, here's the thing. I think we both were on the same planet when we said that the Jags would be better than they were last year. We both on the same planet with that just because of Doug Peterson. We just thought Urban Meyer was just a terrible coach.
Yeah, this ain't college, my boy.
This ain't college. Where they've improved so much is they've stopped the bleeping turnovers. And we just talked about the Eagles with the turnovers and how they're getting them. The Jags stopped being stupid. They're young, so they're going to be stupid.
Right.
And for that reason, you're saying they grew up. And I like a good story too. But for that reason, that's the reason why I'm picking the Chargers, because the Chargers have taken all those lumps. Yeah. And the Chargers were, I forget, were they your offense or your defense?
It was the defense.
Okay. Chargers were your defense. The Chargers were my offense of the season. And for that reason, I want to see them advance, and I want to be right. But I also seen them take their lumps.
Yeah, I just don't see it.
And we don't know if Mike Williams is going to play. Right?
Yeah, he got a back injury, and he hasn't practiced yet this week. But they said they can see he practices this week, and that we can kind of transition now to the next game with Baltimore and Cincinnati. Same deal as Lamar. Lamar has yet to practice this week, and even Snoop Huntley is limited. So I don't know if we're going to see Action Jackson sighting Sunday night in prime time. But if we don't, we booking the Bengals to win that game. So
even with Lamar playing the Bengals, he's really good at playing them. Don't get it twisted. His best highlights are with them. He hasn't played in so long. It's been since mid-November.
Coming playoffs too.
If he's coming in, he's gonna be fresh. But he hasn't played since November. Like, that is a lot. And we're not talking about them old Bengals. We're talking about these Bengals, and these Bengals are one of the most dangerous teams in the league.
9-game win streak over there.
Yeah, like they're not nobody's doormat. They didn't get here by accident. They won the AFC North. Like, they there. And the way the Ravens are shaking out right now, they're going off of muscle memory how they made the playoffs. That was pure and utter. We're a great franchise. and we just know how to win games. So, and oh, by the way, congratulations to Mike Tomlin. Speaking of AFC North, another season, another non-losing season. Again, muscle memory.
Years.
He knows how to coach a program. If only they could just fix certain things, they could do something better.
All season with it.
Yeah, man.
It's like I feel like if money is there, you find the right pieces in the draft because they got studs, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens. That could be a statement. They got Najee. So we talking about quarterback, receiver, and running back.
They got
a trio. They have it. They got Deontay Johnson. They have it. They always got a real good defense. They have it.
It's the O-line.
It's the O-line. You get some pieces, you get the right pieces in the free agency in the draft. We talking about Steelers back to 12 win team, 13 win team.
That division is so stacked. I feel sorry for the Browns. I really do. And they got Deshaun Watson, who's going to have his all season to do what he needs.
I feel like they'll come back strong next year. Even still,
they have.
It's always, but for the Browns, I don't know what draft wise. I feel like they always win.
Yeah, they win the draft.
It's just they never had a staff to develop that. We talking about
they don't get time.
Grant Delpit. You know,
they don't.
Those
are LSU corners and DBs. They don't really pan out in the league like that, other than Pat Pete.
Leave me alone about your beloved DBU.
Look,
I'm not trying to.
All I'm saying is, when a Florida State DB gets drafted in the top 5 of the draft, they are all pros and Pro Bowlers. We can't say the same for LSU all the time. Either way, getting back to it, we taking the Bengals. I would say either way, if Lamar plays or not, I'm taking.
It might be the Bengals. The Bengals are hot, and
yeah, man.
Even if Lamar plays, that defense, bro. Yeah, it's that defense. Like this year, passing wise, is not the same, and even still, weapon wise, it just seems.
And they just played. They literally just played a hard fought game without Lamar, without Huntley. Literally in week 17.
Hey man,
that was a coin flip.
Baltimore. Never mind. Y'all just signed Roquan $100 million.
Yeah.
I was about to say give Lamar some pieces. Never mind.
Yeah.
Baltimore. It was fun while it lasted. Lamar to Tampa. Brady is going. I don't see him coming back. The man that had one hell of a year, and I ain't mean hell of it in a good way. I mean it in a bad way. Brady had one hell of a year. You know how Brady
He got a new girlfriend. That's why he been playing.
Give a rat.
She is beautiful. Have you seen her?
Rats behind about her. She ain't my girlfriend.
Yo, Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady, the junior, the third, the fourth.
It ain't my girlfriend. At the end of the day, Brady been pissed all year. Even if he been pissed by her
so you can see her.
I done seen her. I seen it. She still ain't my girlfriend.
Yo, his facial structure's coming back.
It's all good.
I mean, his face is getting bigger.
It's all good. They talking about that man may go to New Orleans. Brady's going. Brady's not coming back to him for a third year. He didn't have one hell of a year.
Hey, look. So
Lamar, come back to Florida.
We gonna have plenty of an off-season.
And you can flick it. You feel me? You got Mike, you got CG, you got Russell Gage, you got you K9, young Woods, Cole Keith might do a little shot. You feel me? We've gone off. We might lose. Right? I'm telling them to get rid of Dominic Smith. I'm telling them, I got you. We're gonna protect you.
All right. So for our playoff picks right now, we're going on the NFC side. Just to recap, we got the 49ers over Seahawks. We agree there.
I'll go with you. It's a trap game, but if the Seahawks win, I'm gonna say I still told you so.
All right. So Giants and Vikings. We're going with the Vikings. Okay.
Giants cover.
Giants cover. Okay.
You got Vikings. I got Giants cover. We said that for though.
Yeah, we can dap it up for that. Then we got who else? We got.
You have the Bucks and Cowboys.
We ain't dapping on that. He's going with his Bucks. He can't ever pick against them. I'm going with the Cowboys because I want to see the progression. And then on the AFC side, we have Chargers and Jags. I'm going Chargers. You going Jags?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Florida, stand up. The Dolphins already out. The first time in years that all three teams went, Dolphins out.
Look, they were probably going to be out even with Tua, but not having Tua.
You got a fork in here somewhere?
Oh, man, no.
Stick a fork in them. They done. They done.
And then finally, on the AFC side, Bengals versus the Ravens. We're taking the Bengals. And that is the Spot the Ball podcast, y'all. we'll come back here to check in again. Futures bets. Again, my AFC pick is the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. My NFC pick for make the Super Bowl is the 49ers. Do you have anybody you want to put in?
Hey, Buffalo is going.
So he's going Buffalo.
It's the year of the supernatural. Buffalo is going.
Are they winning?
Yes.
All right. Who they playing?
I had Temple going. Temple ain't going no more. Buffalo is winning. So I don't care. They play the 49ers.
No, pick the NFC side.
They play
one.
They look.
Pick
Okay.
one. Pick one.
I picked the 49ers because they hot.
All right.
I'm gonna go with momentum. Feed the hot hand is my saying the last 4 or 5 days. Buffalo 49ers, Buffalo on top.
All right, then.
Buffalo on top.
So you got y'all futures picks. Go ahead and put those in before you check out and let the playoffs get started on Saturday. Put those futures bets in. Those futures bets do pay off in the next few weeks. I won $2,000 last year picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl and putting the Bengals in the Super Bowl with the Rams. You can win some money on that. All you got to do is pick a team and pick the winner of the Super Bowl, and you're there. So long and short, that's the Spot the Ball podcast. Y'all have a good one. We'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir.